Hey everybody, this is Lawton. How you doing? If you're watching me live, then let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun for me to go in and see where people are watching from. And so, what do you do when you have setbacks? There's always something that gets in the way of the day. I ate something weird this morning, then my stomach hurt, and I was trying to have meetings, and then I couldn't, and that was annoying. Think I'm fine. I just ate something weird. So if you're watching live, let me know. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay, and it's not all distorted. But today we're going to talk about overcoming setbacks. We're also going to talk about once somebody came on and they were a plumber, and which was cool. That's what everyone uses for their example. Like, imagine you're a plumber, but this guy really is a plumber. And he was asking me how to sell these services. And I really think to stand out in a really crowded market. Okay. And there's a couple ways to do it. One of the ways that I would recommend, and again, if you're watching live, let me know where you're from. I do want to have the engagement down there. So there should be a comment thing here. I am in Atlanta, Georgia, where it has been raining off and on for like 10 days, which is awesome. Let's see. Okay, so when you do have the comments, when you do comment, I can highlight the comment like this, which is pretty dope. So how do you sell services like plumbing, especially ones where you're in a very crowded market and other people have the same type of service? Okay, and one of the ways is by my buddy Frank Kern always called it like demonstrate your power. So basically demonstrate demonstrative power. So basically where you study old stuff like Dan Kennedy. If you are in the services business, like chiropractors, plumbers, doctors, I would recommend Dan Kennedy, because he is, number one, he's been able to sell to a lot of those different people over the years. And Dan Kennedy is a marketer and somebody who, somebody who just is really good at things. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about how to sell high end or even basic services. So somebody was a chiropractor or came on the show the other day and they were like, hey, can you help me sell more plumbing? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And to do that, you need to demonstrate superior power. And how do we do that? Well, we basically, so there's a lady who cleans my home every 30 days, and she has a partner. She comes in and cleans the house. And so they clean this office, they clean the bedrooms, they clean everything. And one of the ways where she could have immediately stood out if she was a stranger and I did not know her, is by demonstrating her power and expertise. And so how do you do that? Well, you do it by simply, in the services business, one of the ways that you can do this is by getting into the mindset of the person that you're helping. And so most of the time, the person does not want to do the work themselves because they are overwhelmed. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by creating let me just go over here. Let's see. Sorry. Creating a checklist like this. So this is just something I found online, but basically this is the sort of checklist type stuff that the old direct response people would go in and do. And there'd be a letter and there'd be like, hey, would you like us to perform these 45 tasks for you each time we come clean? Right. And then all of the benefits of what they did, each little item of what they did was put into that checklist. And so by the time they've 3 different pages of stuff, what's up? By the time they've read the 3 different pages of stuff, you're pretty much convinced that this is the only person that you want to clean your house, right? Because they're offering to do so much for you. And you can do that just by simply having a checklist of items that you do. So if you're an exterminator, if you're a plumber, if you're a service, an HVAC professional, then what you do is you just write down every single thing that you do when you come in there. And because it's not just like, oh, we house. No, like those people are doing 30 to 40 tasks that they're not thinking about and they're just doing them. But if you had a list of like, and I would use so you can. So if you see this thing on the screen here, this is just a basic laundry list of stuff. But one thing that you could do to add to that list is you could create a letter where you're like, hey, if you'd like to have whatever the benefits of plumbing are, if you'd like to have sparkling, clean pipes so that you don't have to endure clogged drains with hair and other undesirable stuff, then here's the deal. We've put together 65 items that we perform for you when we come to your home, so you don't have to do it. And let's go through a few of those items. And then you have like 2 different rows of checklists of things that you do. The first thing we're going to do is we use a special solvent that's like green and eco-friendly to flush out pipes. And we do this so you can get XYZ result, right? So you would, what you did, and then you would add so you can or so you don't have to, right, to the end of the bullet, right? So, first thing we do is we check the pressure on all of your drains so you can, whatever that benefit would be. And then so I'm sure if you write down everything that you did, that you would have a massive list of things that you actually did. Oh, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. And all that is so you don't have to do XYZ, right? And that's very powerful, right? Because that sets you up to win. That sets you up to win. Okay. And so what's happening when you do this? Well, what's happening is you're allowing your offer to stand out and everybody else, because no longer are you defined just by what you do or what people think you do. You're taking that one thing that you do and you're expanding it, right? Or you could actually put that into what you don't do, right? So like, here's 7 things that we will never do when we come to your property, right? And then list like the negative things other plumbers do or other service providers, and then stand out that way. And then actually be like, here's what we do and here's why we do it. And then you put in the 75 things or the 25 things that you do. And so like by the end of that letter, they're pretty much convinced that like, well, I just better hire this guy because I don't want to do all the stuff that he says that I need to do, right? And so if that resonates with you and you would like to get clear on your offer, then I do have a program that helps you do that, where I work personally with you or in a small group over a few days' time to get clear on your offer and to actually sell that offer through email and through social media. And so all you need to do is fill out a small application over at chilescall.com to see if I can help you, because obviously I can't help everybody. So because you have to have forward momentum, you already have to be having sales in your market. But if you do have those things, then I think that we can ramp up your offer and dial it in far faster, because it's all about how you position what you have. Because we're living in a Me Too society, right? Where, and I guess that sounds weird, but based on the current harassment stuff going on, but everyone is selling sort of the same stuff when you're in the market as them, right? And so how do you stand out? Well, you stand out through positioning different items like this as game changers, because once they see the 20 things that you do or the 15 things that you do that either everyone else is doing but they're not talking about, like we deal with this with the blueberry farm. We have a blueberry farm in Tallahassee. And I was asking my dad, I was like, what do there's only like 3 steps to grow regular blueberries. I mean, you plant them, you spray them with herbicides and pesticides, and then you monitor them and they don't grow, right? That's a grossly underestimated thing, but that's what people would normally do to grow fruit. If you're growing organic, you have to do so much more to grow organic fruit and to set it up the right way. And no one talks about that, right? Nobody talks about what they're doing to grow the organic. And then we are doing some of that. And it's really helps us not only stand out, but it helps us demonstrate our power, demonstrate our authority, demonstrate our credibility without saying like, well, we've been in business since 19, whatever. No one cares about that, right? But if with the fact that like, hey, with education and value and saying like, there's a reason we do the things that we do, it's much more powerful. It's much more powerful, and it resonates at a much higher level, because we don't have to come out and say there's a 7-step process or there's a plumbing ingredient. We don't have to do any of that sort of nonsense. We just demonstrate we can help them by being experts at it and explaining them why we do things differently, right? And then we're doing that in such a way, we can, we stand out in a marketplace. We become experts. We become authority just by demonstrating that we know what we're talking about, right? And then there's a different reason of why we do things differently, And so let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm just going to make sure everything is working. Let's see, I think it is. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, it looks like this is working okay. Oh, Robin's here. What's up, Robin? How you doing? This software is kind of weird. It doesn't really tell you who's watching in the control room. So hello to everyone out there in TV land. But the whole goal is really demonstration of power, right? So if you're in the services business, one way is just by saying you're going to do a ton of stuff for them, or you're going to do a few things. They could be like really small. They could be making a huge difference. So if we're doing the organic farm, maybe we have 10 different processes that we do that other people aren't talking about, that we could come out and do 10 little videos on and say, here's why we do the organic soil this way. Here's why we do things in our berries take 3 times as long to grow, because they're not full of these quick shortcuts to greatness, where the fruit just tastes right. And of course, that's dumbing this down. But most people just do not do this. Most people think that their audience either doesn't care about the processes that they have to go through, or doesn't, they don't think that they're so much of an expert in their field that they're not thinking about what their audience doesn't know and might really want to know. Because entertainment and education is really where you ramp up your curiosity, you ramp up your mystery, and you ramp up desire. So ramping up curiosity of 17 items that blue farmer crops but aren't. Or here's why most of the blueberries you buy in the supermarket taste terrible. And so then you could go into 7 different things or 2 different items they should be doing that they're not. What's going to happen when you do that education and that info, what we call infotainment, is you are going to basically demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them, demonstration of power. You're going to stand out as an expert and authority in your market, and as somebody who actually knows what the heck they're talking about, right? And then it's like, well, once they're ready to hire somebody, they're going to hire you. And then what you could do with that checklist that we just talked about is you would increase your authority and your credibility. Let me just go over here. Yeah. So you would increase your chances of getting the sale through, there we go. You would increase your chances of getting the sale through an urgency, right? We only have 3 different homes that we can do this for because it's such an extensive process, and it takes more time than just us showing up for half an hour at your house, right? So most, and you could write down all the facts they don't know. Like the average plumbing job in America is 25 minutes. There's a reason why it's only 25 minutes, and that's because they're actually cutting a lot of corners that they don't want you to know about. Just like the automotive industry who fix your cars, the insurance industry who won't cover your claims, and the lobbying industry who cares about money more than actually putting your voting demands into practice. The plumbing industry is no different. Actually, it could be far worse. Here's some truth you might not know, and then you go into this is a big problem, but there's a solution, and that is these 75 steps or these 10 steps that nobody's doing. Why aren't they doing it? Because they would rather get in and get out really quickly and have you have to call them over and over again rather than doing the job one time and then having this problem solved for for the majority of time, right? And then you put together this checklist and using those we do this so you can experience benefit or so you can never have XYZ ever again. And then you have some testimonials, and then you would put in your urgency or scarcity. You only can do this for 5 homes. You only can do this for 7 homes. You only can do this for 1 extra person a month right now because it takes a long time to do this, whatever is true, right? But if you put in a reason to act now and not just we'll throw in whatever, right? But really make it a good reason why they need to act right now. One actually broke down, one more service vehicle right now, and so you're limited on the amount of people that you can serve, therefore you should act now, or else we don't know, when we can ramp this back up, right? And that is how it works. And so, yeah, that is very powerful, because basically you are doing a bunch of bragging without bragging, right? Your demonstration of your power is excellent, because you're basically saying, hey, we know what the heck we're talking about, and you should hire us because we actually are explaining this whole process to you, rather than assuming that competing on price or whatever, because most people aren't motivated by price. They're just, price is a number. For everybody who will pay rock bottom prices, there's somebody who will pay 3 or 4 times the amount, because you've done a good job explaining why you are qualified. And if you would like me to do this with you and show you how to use email and social media to make more sales with a phone, or doing some type of radio or billboard ad, or sort of social media or SEO nonsense, especially the SEO stuff, then set up a time. You can go through this application at chilescall.com, and I will review doing what your sales goals are, what you did last year, that type of thing, and see if I'm in a position to help you. Again, you need to be making sales already. You need to have existing clients or customers. And if that's the case, then I think that we could, if you have an email list, if you have a social media presence, if you've run ads before, then I think you're in a good position for me to increase those conversions. If you've never done anything like that before, then I'm probably not the right person to help you. But if you already have forward momentum and you want to run a lot further, a lot faster, you can go to chilescall.com and fill out the application and see if we're a good fit to maybe get on the call and explain how we work with people. And if you think that's a good fit, then we could talk about working together. And if not, not a problem either. But I do think that most people are sitting on what I call found money or buried treasure, and they just don't know it, right? And so it could be a positioning offer where you don't have something like this checklist if you're a services business, and there's plenty of other things to do, right? Not just this one little hack. But I do think that most people they assume that people either won't care of all the things I do for them, or the fact that they do things differently, or they just don't think to tell them about it, right? So if you go to chilescall.com, you will see an application right there. You'll see my photo. You'll see an application that has about 7 questions on it. And then when you fill that out, I will get it and be in touch with you. All right. Well, that is it for right now, but I do hope that answers my man's question about selling plumbing and selling service-based businesses. And that is just one thing you could do, but no one does it, and it works really well. So, hey, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions, please type them below in the comments, and I will review them. If you're watching the replay, again, no question is too small or too big, and if I don't know, they do a good job of trying to track down who does. All right, I appreciate it. And if you want to work together and you think you need more sales more often, go to chilescall.com, fill out the little application there, and I will be in touch. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon.